So Thor Ragnarok is the newest film in the Thor franchise of the Marvel Cinematic Universe films. And I'm going to be completely honest, when looking at all those Marvel Cinematic Universe films, and I'm sitting down and I'm like, which film do I want to watch? Thor and Thor the Dark World definitely aren't in my top 10 list. Maybe even 14. That's saying something. But this one, Thor Ragnarok, it's probably in my top 3 now. So you can definitely tell there's like a change. Something changed that made the first 2 Thor films being a couple of my least favorite films of any Marvel movie of all time, to this new Thor film being one of my most favorite films of any Marvel movie of all time. So basically, Thor Ragnarok picks up about 2 years after we last saw Thor in Avengers Age of Ultron, and he's basically been on a quest to, find the Infinity Stones and figure out what those all mean, and basically he gets captured by like this devil type guy, and he learns that he's trying to destroy Asgard, and so that Infinity Stone stuff is put onto the side, and Thor needs to save Asgard because Hela, the goddess of death, played by the amazing Cate Blanchett, is trying to take it over and destroy everything. And so Thor needs to put together a ragtag group of people, which include Hulk, Tessa Thompson's character Valkyrie, Loki, all these characters, so he can prevent Ragnarok, which means the end of everything. Right from the beginning, when Thor's fighting that devil guy named Surtur, played by Clancy Brown, Clancy Brown does the voice, that's a fun little cameo, I get the vibe of what kind of movie this is going to be, from, the action shots, to the imagery, to like the cinematography and the music that's playing in the background. I don't want to give away what song they use, but I was really surprised that they used it. I was thinking, they used that song in the trailers, but I didn't know they were going to use it in the movie, so that's kind of cool that they did. But yeah, definitely, from the very first opening 5 minutes, I'm getting a different feel for how Taika Waititi, who is the new director of these Thor movies, how he changed it from the last 2 Thor movies, because he said that basically what he wanted to do was just restart Thor, but somehow, in a way, keep it as an ongoing story from the first 2, which I find really interesting, because, it's even the actors and the directors know that the Thor movies aren't good. Chris Hemsworth even said in an interview he did not like playing Thor because it was so boring. It wasn't a fun job. But then when he read the script for this new one, he decided, hey, I'll stick around. He had to because he was under contract. But still, he was actually excited to do this because he saw that it was a new, fresh look at Thor and how they could develop his character in a different, more comedic way. Taika Waititi, I think I said Taika Waititi. No, it's Taika Waititi. He's just such a great director. I've seen some of his other movies, Eagle vs. Shark. My parents saw What We Do in the Shadows. I haven't seen that one yet, but I've been recommended it by a bunch of people, actually, and I hear it's extremely funny, so I'll have to check it out. But from what I've seen of his work, he is just such a great actor and director. He has a character in this movie named Korg. He's basically a rock monster. He steals the show on that. He's just such a comedic character in the movie. He's a comedic character in a comedic movie. I think that's pretty funny. But yeah, he just does a great job at, giving us a new look at Thor and what we can see and learn from this character than what we have previously learned from the other Avengers movies and the other Thor movies. Everybody honestly does great in this film. I think it definitely was a great idea to have the Hulk in it, which I'll get to him in a second, but Jeff Goldblum, oh my god, I totally forgot to mention him. Jeff Goldblum is just so great in this movie, and he's not the bad guy. I know a lot of people thought he was going to be the bad guy. He's not the bad guy. He's just an old, weird dude with some weird fetishes, but he is just great. He plays literally Jeff Goldblum, and it's kind of funny, because, he knows that he's a ridiculous character, and it definitely shows, but his character is just great. I don't really want to talk about him too much, because I think you just need to experience him for yourself, because I knew who the Grandmaster was, but I didn't know what he was like. I haven't really read a lot of stuff with the Grandmaster, and so I wasn't really, up to date with what the character is like and how he, treats people. But when I saw this movie, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should look into the Grandmaster, because that was a great role for Jeff Goldblum to have, and he just nailed it. So yeah, Jeff Goldblum is great. Mark Ruffalo was great as the Hulk as always. It was kind of strange because when I saw the trailers, I thought Hulk, especially the second trailer, Hulk looked a little bit more animated than he had in the previous movies, and I was kind of worried about that, but he was great as the Hulk again. It's cool to, see what the story arc is that he's going through. I'd say where the one thing with the Hulk that was kind of strange, that kind of bothered me, and I know a lot of other YouTube critics and movie reviewers have talked about this, is that Hulk is speaking in full sentences now, and we've never really seen that before, and I get why they're doing it, because, the whole new outlook on these characters that Taika Waititi wanted to do, but it was kind of strange. They didn't really give an explanation, and I get, he's been Hulk for 2 years, so maybe he's developed his language skills more, but I don't know. I thought it was a little strange. There was really no like clarification. It was just kind of left to the audience to assume. But yeah, Mark Ruffalo does great as Bruce Banner and the Hulk. I'd say where the film falters is with all the exposition it needs to do with Hela, because it's kind of strange. There are just some scenes where like you just forget about who Hela is. Like it's right after the Hulk fight, and then for like half an hour, I'm not even joking, like half an hour, you just don't hear from Hela because they're trying to catch everyone up with what's happened with Hulk and what they're trying to do to get to Asgard. And so I wouldn't really say I was disappointed, but it was a little strange because Hela, is the main villain of this movie, and she's great. Kate Blanchett does a great job as Hela, and she's a great villain, but at the same time, when we're not really seeing a lot of her, I can't really be like, oh, well, she's greater than Michael Keaton as the Vulture, because in Spider-Man Homecoming, Michael Keaton was in probably more than half the movie, whereas Hela, she's probably in less than half of the movie. And so I was kind of surprised by that. I was like, well, I can't really, if I'm going to be in a conversation with someone about who's the greatest Marvel villain, I can't really compare those two, because, like, the movies, I think the difference between the movies in time is like 3 minutes or something. I can't really compare those two because Hela's not in as much as Michael Keaton was as in Spider-Man. So, I don't know. I mean, she's a good villain, but it was just kind of strange. That was one thing that bothered me about the film, is that we don't see Hela sometimes for like long periods on end. And they don't do it once, they do it a couple times, and it was just really strange. And back to the exposition, there's just so much she needs to do to explain about who she is and where she came from and why she's doing what she needs to do. And I get why they need to, explain that to the audience, because not everyone going to see Thor Ragnarok is going to know everything about Hela. I don't know everything about Hela. This is the first I've really known a lot about her. So I'm not going to know, she worked with Odin before. I never would have known that unless I read the comics. And I mean, I read some Marvel comics, but I wouldn't know that. And so I get why they have to explain that to the audience, but sometimes it's a little bit too much. The colors are great in this film, though. I really like the color aspect they use because it gives off a very futuristic vibe. If you look at the first Thor movies, you really see like, a Shakespearean type vibe where it's very dark, very dull. But in this one, it's like Guardians of the Galaxies. There's lights everywhere, fireworks and gunshots, colorful gunshots and robots and stuff like that. And I really liked it. I thought it was super cool, very futuristic-y, very, throwback to 70s and 80s style. The music, the score for the Grandmaster, I came home and I listened to it. It's just so good. If you see the movie and you like the score, listen to it because it is just so cool. The sounds they use for it, I don't know, I really like the score. So hands down, Thor Ragnarok is the best Thor movie. Probably one of the best Marvel Cinematic Universe movies in my opinion. I think it definitely ranks up there with the first Iron Man movie and the first Guardians movie. I even would say I liked it as much as I liked Iron Man 3. And I liked Iron Man 3 a lot actually. I know I might get some hate for that. But yeah, I really like this movie, and I'm going to give Thor Ragnarok a 9 out of 10. I really think if you want to see a fresh, new look on Marvel movies, go see this one. I mean, this year's just been great for superhero movies. Hopefully Justice League will be good. Like I said, I wasn't the biggest fan of Lego Batman or Wonder Woman, but so far, Marvel movies and DC movies... I wouldn't really say DC because the DC movies have disappointed me this year. Hopefully Justice League can hold up to that. But the Marvel movies this year have just been great. Logan was great. Guardians 2, it's good. Watching a couple times, Spider-Man is still great. And Thor Ragnarok falls under that line. If I forgot something, forgive me. Thank you all so much for listening. If you've liked what we listened to on here and you want to listen more, go like, comment, and subscribe. That would be really helpful and I would really appreciate it. The links to all my social medias are listed down below in the description. Other than that, this has been A Talk in Depth.